Welcome to Der Hair for Kids. Join us as we explore the fascinating lives of our Rebbeim. This episode is dedicated to the Tzeirei Hashluchim of the Rebbe to Champaign, Urbana, Illinois, Menachem and Mussia Sheyichyu, Tiechtel. In the previous episode, we discussed different things that the Baal Shem Tov accomplished. In this episode, we will speak about the Baal Shem Tov's accomplishments and challenges during his Nesius, leading up to his passing. When the Baal Shem Tov began to teach and spread Chassidus, there were Talmidei Chachamim who knew a lot of Torah, but they did not understand how special the Baal Shem Tov really was. They didn't understand what the Baal Shem Tov was trying to accomplish and why he was teaching things that they had never heard of. Instead of first meeting the Baal Shem Tov and allowing him to explain what he was teaching, these Talmidei Chachamim decided that Chassidus goes against the Torah, and the Baal Shem Tov must be stopped. They started to spread messages against Chassidim, telling people that they should have nothing to do with Chassidim, that they should not do business with Chassidim or help them in any way. These people were called misnagdim. The word misnagid comes from the root word neged, which means against, because they were against Chassidus. Things got so bad that at some point it was dangerous for the Baal Shem Tov to walk on the street. Life for Chassidim was very hard during that time, but nothing would stop them from serving Hashem in the way that they felt was right, based on the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. Once there was a group of misnagdim who gathered together to discuss the Baal Shem Tov. One of the Rabbonim, called Reb Hirsch, announced, "Rabbi Sai, thank you for coming to this secret meeting. I am here to discuss the teachings of Chassidus. We must not allow the Baal Shem Tov to continue spreading his teachings. Chassidus must be stopped." Reb Elia asked, "But what could we possibly do to stop him? He has so many Talmidim and so many Yidden who learn from him and see him as their Rebbe. What can we do to stop him?" Reb Chatzkel answered, "Simple. Let's gather together 250 Rabbonim, and together we will write and sign a cherem using the power of the Torah to make a decree against the Baal Shem Tov and his Chassidim." A cherem? Yes, of course. A cherem is a document that will say that no one is allowed to help, talk to, or even be next to the Baal Shem Tov or any of his students. Reb Chaim said, "That's a great idea, Reb Chatzkel. But we will need to keep the whole plan top secret. If someone finds out about this in advance, the Chassidim might try somehow to stop this cherem from happening." "You're right, Reb Chaim. This has to be kept secret. I wonder what we can do." I've got it. I have an idea. We will tell each of the 250 Rabbonim to meet at a secret place. We will also make them promise that they will not tell anyone about our plan to make this cherem. Reb Hirsch said, "Excellent, Reb Aaron. It has been decided." Some time later, on a dark night, 250 Rabbonim gathered together in a secret location to pass a decree against Chassidus. Guards were placed at the door. "Elazar, I see that you were chosen to guard this place together with me."
"Of course, Avadia. You know that I would make a great guard."
"Do you know why we are here, Elazar?"
"Of course, Avadia. We are here to make sure that only people that have the secret password are allowed to come in. Word of this meeting cannot go public."
"Elazar, we will really need to keep count of how many people are here. There are only allowed to be 250 people in the room. Excuse me, Rav Leben, what is the password?" Each Rav had to give the password in order to be let in. Unfortunately, we cannot leak the password to you listeners. We apologize. Some time later, after the room was filled with eager Rabbonim, Reb Chatzkel announced, "Moirai v'Rabbi Sai, we are ready to begin." Suddenly, one of the guards came into the building and announced,
"Honored Rabbonim, I am sorry to let you know that a terrible mistake has just happened. There are only supposed to be 250 Rabbonim here. But according to our count, 251 people gave us the correct password. Obviously, there is one person here who is not invited.
The Rabbonim looked at each other in shock. One Rav called out, "Who gave out the secret code?"
We all promised not to tell anyone.
Another Rav said, surprised. "Who broke the promise?" Each Rav replied, "I didn't." "Neither did I." "So who was it?" One of the organizers stood up and said, "With the power of the Torah, the Beis Din commands that whoever was not invited to this meeting should stand up and explain to us why he is here." At that very moment, one man stood up. "My name is Yisrael ben Eliezer." That is the name of the Baal Shem Tov. He continued, "I am the person against whom you are trying to make this cherem. But I have come to warn you that the way in which you are making this cherem is completely against the Torah." Everyone sat there with their eyes popping out in shock as they listened closely to what the Baal Shem Tov had to say. The Torah says that you are not allowed to judge a person unless the person that you are judging is in front of you. The Torah also tells us that the judges need to research and investigate the matter so that they know for sure that they are making the right decision. Yet here we have 250 Rabbonim who are ready to judge me harshly without even asking me to come and discuss or explain what Chassidus is, and without questioning those who complained against me to find out if what they are saying is even true. How can you Rabbonim go directly against the Torah like that? The Rabbonim were very embarrassed. "Oy, we did such a terrible aveira," said Reb Chatzkel. Reb Chaim said, "We should have invited the Baal Shem Tov to hear what he was really all about before trying to destroy him." Reb Hirsch stood up and said, "Please tell us one thing. How did you find out about our meeting? Who is the one who broke his promise and told you about our plan?" "No one broke his promise," replied the Baal Shem Tov. "From Shamayim I was told about your plan, so that I would be able to come and stop such great Rabbonim like yourselves from doing something against Hashem. I have also come here to save your lives. You should know that you, the 250 Rabbonim here, all have within you the neshamas of the 250 great leaders who joined Korach many years ago in his fight against Moshe Rabbeinu when the Yidden were in the Midbar. Back then, Hashem had punished them by destroying them with a fire from Shamayim. I have come to warn you that if you go ahead and make a cherem against Chassidus, you will suffer a punishment as bad as the 250 leaders suffered in the days of Korach." Upon hearing these words, all of the Rabbonim began to shake with fear. The meeting was immediately cancelled, and many of the Rabbonim went home full of shame over what they had tried to do. The Baal Shem Tov continued to teach Chassidus, even though many people were trying to stop him. His Chassidim suffered tremendously because of the Misnagdim, but they continued to live in accordance with Chassidus no matter how difficult it became. As time went on, more and more people came to the Baal Shem Tov to learn and live Chassidus. Here are some things that the Baal Shem Tov taught. The Baal Shem Tov used to teach his Talmidim the importance of thinking the right things and doing mitzvahs with the proper kavanah or intention in mind. Many times, the Baal Shem Tov caused his Talmidim to be able to see things that were going on in other parts of the world or things that were going on in Shamayim, like a vision. One Shabbos, the Baal Shem Tov allowed his Talmidim to see something really shocking. They saw a giant ox wearing a shtreimel and beautiful Shabbos clothes, sitting at a Shabbos table and eating and fressing all of the food that was on the table. Then the vision suddenly disappeared, and the Talmidim again saw what was in front of them. They couldn't understand.
What is the meaning of what we have just seen? What is an ox doing with a shtreimel and Shabbos clothes?
The Baal Shem Tov explained to his surprised Talmidim The ox that you have just seen is not really an ox. You have just seen a real person. This person is sitting at his Shabbos table, dressed in beautiful Shabbos clothes, wearing his Shabbos shtreimel, and eating really tasty Shabbos food. The problem is that this Yid totally forgot about Shabbos and how holy Shabbos is. Instead, he is completely involved in enjoying every single bite of meat that was on the table in front of him. He completely forgot about the ruchniistic part, that he is eating this meal in order to honor the Shabbos. He is thinking so deeply about the delicious meat that spiritually, beruchnius, he had actually turned into the ox, the animal which he is eating. Because, after all, that is the only thing he is thinking about. My Talmidim, this is what we have learned together many times. B'makom shemachshavtoi shel adam, sham hu nimtza. That means that whatever a person is thinking about, it is considered as if he is there in reality. He is thinking about enjoying food just like an animal would. So spiritually, beruchnius, he is right now just like an animal. One Motzei Shabbos, right after Shabbos had ended, before anyone made Havdalah, the Baal Shem Tov came into the Beis Medrash, where his Talmidim were sitting. When the Baal Shem Tov came in, he saw that it was completely dark, since there were no more candles to light up the shul. This is, of course, before the days of electricity. The Baal Shem Tov instructed his Talmidim, "Please go to the store and buy candles to light up the shul." Now, if somebody would ask you to buy something right after Shabbos, what would you say? You would probably say, "Sure, I'll just go home to get my money, because I didn't have my money with me all Shabbos." But the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov did not say that. Instead, they each said, "Okay, let me just stick my hands into my pockets and see what's inside." They each stuck their hands into their pockets. Suddenly, each of them called out, "Guess what I found? A coin inside my pocket."
"I have one here too."
They each found one coin in their pockets. They used the coins that they found to buy candles to light up the shul. What makes this story so special is not only that the Baal Shem Tov caused coins to miraculously appear in their pockets. There is a much deeper lesson to learn from this story. The Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov had so much emunah in their Rebbe that they were sure that if their Rebbe wanted them to do something, nothing in the world could possibly stop them from getting it done. If the Baal Shem Tov wanted them to buy something right away, nature itself would not stop coins from appearing in their pockets. Similarly, we need to know that when our Rebbe tells us to do something, nothing in the world can stop us from being able to carry out our mission. All we need to do is to realize this point, and the Rebbe will take care of the rest. Once, on Rosh Hashanah, the neshama of the Baal Shem Tov went up on a visit to Shamayim. He went from level to level, until he came to the exact room where Mashiach is. The Baal Shem Tov asked Mashiach, "Eimosai kosi mar," which means, "Mashiach, when will our master come?" Mashiach replied, "When your well springs, the teachings of Chassidus, will spread out into the outside world." The Rebbe teaches us that Yafutzu Ma'inaisecha Chutza means that Chassidus is like a wellspring. What is a wellspring? Well, underground there is a lot of water, and sometimes a little bit of water shoots out from the ground like a fountain. That is a wellspring. What makes a wellspring special is that even though it can be a small amount of water, you can see how it is always connected to its source below the ground. In the same way, when we teach Chassidus, we must make sure to teach it as it is without changing it. It must be taught by someone who is connected to our Rabbeim and follow their directions. It must be clear that this is Chassidus as passed down by our Rabbeim. In addition, we must spread Chassidus to the outside, to the farthest and unexpected places. Every single person, even those who don't yet know anything about Torah, and all over the world, even in the farthest countries, must learn Chassidus. Chassidus must be printed in every language, even in the language of the blind. Tanyas must be printed in every place, and Shluchim are sent to every place on earth. The Rebbe told us to do all this in order to reach the goal of spreading the wellsprings of Chassidus to the farthest places. That is Yafutzu Ma'yanaisecha Chutza. In the year Tov Kuf Chof, the Baal Shem Tov was 61 years old, and he felt that he would soon pass away. On Lag BaOmer of that year, the Baal Shem Tov had a Seudah with his Talmidim. During the Seudah, he hinted to them that he only had 18 days left to live. The Talmidim, of course, became very sad. The Baal Shem Tov comforted them and told them, "My light, the light of Chasidus, will shine until Mashiach comes." On the night of Vav Sivan, the first night of Shavuos, the Baal Shem Tov laid on his bed, surrounded by his Talmidim. "My dear Talmidim, sing my favorite niggin, the niggin of my Talmid, Reb Michele of Zlotchev." The Talmidim began to sing that special niggin that goes like this. Afterwards, the Baal Shem Tov announced, "I promise that anyone, no matter where he is, if he sings Reb Michele Zlotchever's niggin with thoughts of tshuva and davening to Hashem, I will hear the song no matter in which place in Shamayim I am found. I will then sing along with the person and cause Hashem to give brachos to the person who is singing the niggin." The Baal Shem Tov continued, "When it came the time for Eliyahu Hanavi to leave the world, he did not pass away as normal people do. Instead, he flew up to Shamayim while he was still in his physical body. Had I wanted to, I could have left the world in the same way that Eliyahu Hanavi did, and be able to keep my physical body and visit this world at any time. But I have decided to give up on this honor, because I want to do what it says in the Torah, Ve'el Afar Tashuv, Hashem's decree that a person should return to the earth after his passing." The Baal Shem Tov said that when his neshama would leave the world, both of the clocks in the room would stop working. And that is exactly what happened. The Baal Shem Tov asked that only 10 specific Talmidim should be in his room during the time of his passing. Among them was Reb Dov Ber, who would later become known as the Maggid of Mezrich. After the Baal Shem Tov's passing, on the first day of Shavuos, he was buried in Mezhbush, where he lived in the last part of his life. His oil remains there until this day. The Baal Shem Tov wrote a special document before he passed away for his Talmidim to read only after his passing. This document is called a tzava, a will. Here are some things that the Baal Shem Tov wrote. "My dear Talmidim, I am writing to you my last instructions regarding how you should conduct yourselves after my passing. Whoever will be the Rebbe after my passing should not live in Mezhbush no matter what. You should respect whoever will be the Rebbe after me even more than you respected me during my lifetime. This is because I know for a fact that this person who will be Rebbe in my place is special and respected even among the tzaddikim. I want you to know that the day will soon come that a group of people will rise up against the Talmidei Chachamim and against the Torah. My dear children, stay away from them and don't have anything to do with them. Remember that the Torah is true, and we must follow everything the Torah says exactly as it is described in Halacha. No changes are allowed to be made to the Torah. The most important thing is, do not fight amongst yourselves. In our group of Hasidim, there should be only shalom, peace, between you. Those are some things that the Baal Shem Tov wrote to his Talmidim for them to read after he would pass away. But who could possibly fill the place of the great Baal Shem Tov and lead the second generation of Hasidus? And what brought this leader to become a Talmid of the Baal Shem Tov?
To find out, please stay tuned for the next episode of The Hair for Kids. Thank you for listening to The Hair for Kids, where we explore the fascinating lives of our Rebbe.